The morning was busy at the office. Phones were ringing, people were walking fast, and keyboards were clicking nonstop. It was just another normal day at Future Tech Corporation, one of the biggest tech companies in the city. At exactly 9 a.m., the elevator opened, and a young woman stepped out. Her name was Anna. She looked around, calm and quiet. She wore simple clothes, a plain blue shirt, black jeans, and flat shoes. Her hair was tied back, and she didn't wear any makeup. She looked like an ordinary girl, maybe a little shy. Anna walked to the front desk. "Hello, I'm the new hire. Today is my first day," she said softly. The receptionist, a kind woman named Priya, smiled. "Welcome to Future Tech, Anna. Please wait here. I'll call someone to guide you." After a few minutes, a tall man in a suit walked over. His name was Mr. Rowan, the floor manager. He looked confident, but had a sharp look in his eyes. He stopped in front of Anna and raised an eyebrow. "You're the new one?" he asked. Anna stood up and nodded. "Yes, sir. Nice to meet you." Rowan gave a fake smile. You look like a school intern. Let's see how long you survive here." He didn't even shake her hand. Priya frowned a little, but she said nothing. Rowan walked quickly. "Follow me." Anna quietly followed him through the office. People looked up from their desks. Some smiled at her. Others didn't care. Rowan showed her a small desk in the corner of the room. "This is your place. And these," he said, dropping a large stack of papers on her desk, "are your first tasks. Reports, data entry, emails. Don't mess it up." Anna looked at the papers. "That's quite a lot." Rowan laughed loudly, so others could hear. "Welcome to the real world. You asked to be here." Some employees looked at each other. They had seen this before. Rowan always gave new people a hard time. But Anna simply said, "Okay," and sat down. The hours passed. Anna worked quietly. She didn't talk much, but her hands moved fast. She finished one report, then another, then another. People noticed how quickly she worked. At lunch, some employees invited her to join them. But Rowan walked by and said loudly, "She can eat later. Work first." Anna looked up. "I'll be okay," she said politely. "Thank you for the offer." By 6 p.m., everyone started packing their bags. But Anna was still typing. Rowan walked over and smirked. "Still working? This job might be too much for you." Anna smiled calmly. "No, sir. I'm almost done." He rolled his eyes and left. The office became quiet. Most people had gone home. The cleaning staff had started their work. Anna finished the last file, then leaned back in her chair. She looked at her simple phone. It was old, not a fancy model. She unlocked it, opened a secret app, and typed a short message. "Phase 1 complete. He doesn't recognize me." She pressed send. Then she stood up, walked to the window, and looked out at the city lights. Behind her, the janitor, an old man who had worked in the company for years, was sweeping the floor. He looked up at her and smiled. "Long day, miss." Anna turned and smiled gently. "Yes, but it was a good day." "You look familiar," the janitor said. Anna simply replied, "Maybe from long ago." The janitor nodded and walked away. Anna picked up her bag and turned off the desk lamp. Before leaving, she glanced one last time at Rowan's glass office. It was empty now. She whispered to herself, "Let's see how he behaves tomorrow." Then she walked out, silent and steady. The next morning, the office lights turned on one by one. Employees walked in, greeting each other, sipping coffee, and getting ready for another busy day. Anna was already there. She sat at her desk, calm and focused. She had arrived an hour early and had already completed the reports from yesterday that Rowan had dumped on her. The papers were neatly stacked, organized, and ready to be reviewed. When Mr. Rowan walked in at 9:30, carrying his usual cup of coffee, he looked surprised to see her already working. "You're early," he said. Anna stood up and handed him the files. "The reports are ready, sir." Rowan looked at the pile and raised an eyebrow. "Already?" "Yes, sir. I double-checked the numbers, too." He didn't say thank you. Instead, he smiled. Falsely. "Let's see how long that energy lasts." Rowan didn't like her confidence. Something about her calm smile irritated him. He walked away with the papers but made a note in his mind. Break her confidence. Testing her limits. That day, Rowan gave her more work. Twice as much as before. It was a mix of hard files, office errands, and even work that wasn't part of her job. "Go make 30 copies of this, then arrange all the files in the storage room." Anna nodded. "Okay, sir." Later, he asked her to type a 30-page contract and submit it within 2 hours. "Is there a deadline?" she asked politely. "Yes," Rowan said with a smirk. "Right now." He waited for her to panic, but she didn't. She sat down and got to work immediately. Some coworkers were watching silently. A few felt sorry for her, but no one spoke up. They all feared Rowan. Whispers in the office. By lunch, the office buzzed with quiet conversations. "Did you see how much work he gave her?" She didn't complain at all. "She's different." Rowan also heard these whispers. They annoyed him. He called one of his assistants, Ravi. "Watch her. I want to know everything. Where she goes. Who she talks to." Ravi nodded, but he looked unsure. "Sir, she's just a new employee." Rowan's eyes narrowed. Just do it. After hours. Once again, Anna was the last to leave. When the office was empty, she took out her phone. She opened the same hidden app and typed, "Phase 2 starting. He's taking the bait." She looked around the room, her eyes stopping at Rowan's cabin. She smiled, but it wasn't the soft smile from earlier. It was colder now. Controlled. The elevator surprise. As Anna walked out of the office, she didn't go toward the main lift like the rest of the employees. She turned left and entered a smaller hallway that most staff never used. At the end was a golden elevator, the CEO's private lift. She pulled out a card from her wallet and tapped it. Beep. Access granted. The doors opened. Inside the elevator was a fingerprint scanner. She placed her thumb on it. Access confirmed. "Welcome, Miss Mara." The doors closed, and the elevator moved upward to the secret top floor of the company, a hidden meeting. The elevator opened into a quiet, dark room. Only one person sat inside, facing the city through a large glass window. It was Mr. Rajiv Mehra, the CEO of Future Tech, and Anna's father. He didn't turn around. "Report," he said calmly. Anna stepped forward. "Phase 1 is complete. He doesn't suspect anything." Today he increased the pressure. Did he cross the line? Not yet, but he's trying. Rajiv nodded slowly. "Observe more. I want the truth about how my managers treat new hires when no one's watching." Anna hesitated. "Why didn't you just install more cameras?" Her father chuckled. "Because cameras show actions, but your eyes will show me intent." He finally turned to face her. His eyes, sharp like hers, were proud but serious. "You know what to do, daughter. Make him show his real face." Anna nodded. "He already has, father. Soon, the whole company will see it too." Back at home. That night, Anna sat in her small rented apartment. It was nothing like her real home. No guards, no luxury, no servants. Just a small room, a bed, and a desk. She opened her laptop and started writing. Subject: Employee behavior. Mr. Rowan. Details: Assigned double work without clear instructions. Humiliated in public twice. No appreciation for completed work. Gave unrelated tasks, errands, manual work. Behavior towards junior staff. Rude, dismissive. She saved the file in a folder named Evaluation, Phase 2. Anna closed her eyes and took a deep breath. He thinks this is a game. But I've learned from the best, she whispered to herself. The third day at Future Tech began like the others. Busy, fast, and loud. Phones rang, printers buzzed, and people rushed around with files and laptops. But something felt different. Whispers about the new girl, Anna, had grown louder. She finished double the work again. She never gets tired. She never complains, even when Rohan Sir is rude. Some employees were impressed. Others were curious. And one person, Mr. Rohan, was becoming nervous. The pressure increases. Rohan sat in his cabin, tapping a pen on the table. He looked at the reports Anna submitted. Perfect again. He frowned. How is she so fast? So neat? So quiet? He called her into his office. Anna entered, her posture calm, eyes steady. Yes, sir. I'm giving you a new project, he said sharply. It's a presentation for a foreign client. You have to prepare everything. Data, charts, strategy. The meeting is tomorrow morning. Don't mess it up. Anna looked at the files. It was a complex project that usually took 3 people to complete. I'll get it done, sir, she said softly. Rohan leaned back. You seem too confident for someone so new. Anna smiled. I believe in working hard. Rohan didn't like that answer. More than she seems. That evening, while others were leaving the office, Anna stayed behind. Again. She worked alone, typing, calculating, preparing every detail for the next day's meeting. But someone was watching. Ravi, the assistant Rohan had told to keep an eye on her, stood near the stairwell. He had followed her quietly. At first, he thought she was just a hard-working girl. But now, he wasn't so sure. He had seen her access locked doors. He had noticed how security guards treated her with silent respect. And today, he saw her use a company laptop that only top executives were allowed to touch. Ravi's hands trembled slightly. Who is she really? Meanwhile, in the CEO's office, high above the office floors, Mr. Rajiv Mehra, the CEO, watched his daughter's progress on a secure monitor. She's doing well, said Ms. Kavita, the company's HR head, who stood beside him. Rajiv nodded. She's learning more than I expected. But Rohan is crossing lines now. He's going to fail. I don't want just failure, Rajiv said. I want the truth to come out. Let the company see who their real leaders are. Rohan's secret meeting. That same night, Rohan met 2 men in a quiet cafe near the office. I'm telling you, she's not normal, Rohan said, his voice low. You think she's spying on you? One man asked. I don't know, but she's watching me. She never argues, never gets angry. But I feel like she already knows what I'm going to do next. You're losing control, the other man said. I won't lose. She's just a girl, Rohan growled. Tomorrow, I'll break her in front of everyone. The big meeting. The next morning, employees gathered in the conference room. A foreign client had arrived, a powerful investor from Europe. Everyone was nervous. Anna stood calmly in front of the large screen, ready to present. Rohan stood behind her, arms crossed, watching. She won't be able to handle pressure, he whispered to a colleague. But the presentation began, and Anna spoke like a professional. Her voice was clear, confident, and kind. She explained the data, showed growth plans, and answered every question with grace. The client nodded, impressed. This is excellent work. Who prepared all this? He asked. Before Anna could speak, Rohan stepped forward. The project was under my supervision. I guided her. Anna looked at him, but didn't say anything. The client smiled politely, but didn't respond. The sudden reveal. After the meeting ended, people clapped. Anna thanked everyone and started walking out. But just as she reached the hallway, Ravi ran up to her. Wait, he said, breathless. Anna stopped. Yes, I know who you are, Ravi whispered. Anna looked into his eyes. Do you? I saw your card. I saw you enter the executive floor. Anna gave a small smile. Then you also saw what happens when people pretend too much. Ravi looked shocked. Why are you here? Anna looked around to make sure no one else was listening. Then she leaned closer and said softly, to find the ones who wear suits outside and cruelty inside. Later that night, in her apartment, Anna updated her file. Subject: Day 3. Manager behavior. Took credit for my work. Tried to pressure me in front of client. Assigned unrealistic tasks again. Internal staff. Ravi has noticed irregularities. She paused. Then she added, recommendation: prepare for phase 3. Identity will not stay hidden much longer. Anna closed the file and looked out of the window. In the distance, the future tech tower lights glowed brightly in the night sky. She whispered, let the real games begin. The mood in the future tech office was beginning to shift. It had been 4 days since Anna, the quiet new girl, had joined, and already strange things were happening. Employees whispered behind coffee machines. They watched her from a distance. Some admired her. Some felt confused. But one thing was clear: Anna was not normal. And Mr. Rowan, the manager who once mocked her, now felt something he had never felt before when speaking to a junior staff member. Fear. Tensions rise. Rohan stormed into the office that morning. He tossed his bag onto his chair and shouted, where's the report from the finance team? A junior rushed to him with files, but his eyes were scanning the floor for someone else. Anna. She wasn't at her desk. Late again, he muttered, always acting innocent. But just as he turned toward his cabin, he froze. Anna was already inside. She was standing beside his desk, reading a report. Rohan's heart skipped. How did she get in? I locked this office. Anna turned around and smiled. Good morning, sir. I thought I'd save you some time. Rohan clenched his jaw. You can't just walk into my cabin without permission. Anna stepped forward calmly and placed the report on his desk. I didn't walk in. I used your keycard. It was left in the scanner outside. Rohan felt a cold chill. He never left his keycard. Not ever. A warning from above. At the same time, upstairs in the executive wing, CEO Rajiv Mehra called a private meeting. Only the top 4 department heads were invited: HR, Finance, Operations, and Security. Any updates? Rajiv asked. HR head Kavita replied first. People are starting to notice. She's already cracked 2 internal systems. Quietly. Legally, but effectively. The security chief added, last night, she ran a security audit on the entire building. The finance head looked surprised. Who authorized that? Rajiv smiled slightly. She did, because she has full access. Silence filled the room. Then Rajiv said, the game is moving faster than I expected. But let's see if Rohan breaks before the final reveal. Rohan begins to crack. Back downstairs, Rohan was getting more nervous by the hour. He noticed his team was behaving differently. They no longer laughed at his jokes. They didn't join him for tea breaks. They looked over their shoulders, spoke in whispers. But worst of all, they talked to Anna with respect. That afternoon, he called Ravi into his cabin. Tell me, he said, what do you know about her? Ravi hesitated. I think she's connected to someone. Important. Like who? I don't know exactly. But I saw her once, on the top floor, with the CEO's assistant. Rowan's eyes went wide. That's not possible, he said. But his voice didn't sound so sure anymore. Anna's move. Later that day, Anna called for a small team meeting. 5 employees gathered around, including Ravi. She stood near the board and explained a new system that could fix major delays in company workflow. Everyone listened. Her words were simple. Her plan was smart. And the team felt something they hadn't felt in months under Rohan's leadership: hope. When the meeting ended, Ravi stayed back. Why are you really here? He asked. Anna looked at him. "I'm here," she said softly, "because someone has forgotten what leadership really means." Then she walked away. An old video. That night, Rowan couldn't sleep. He sat at his desk at home, searching files, documents, anything about Anna. Then he found it. An old video from a news interview 3 years ago. It was a business event. The CEO of Future Tech was on stage, and beside him, smiling and speaking to reporters, was a young woman. Same eyes, same smile. Anna. But in the video, her name wasn't Anna. It was Ananya Mehra, the only daughter of Rajiv Mehra, the owner of the company. Rowan felt like the ground had slipped under his feet. The panic. He jumped up and started pacing. She's the boss's daughter. She's here to test me. Maybe to remove me. His breath became fast. He picked up his phone and called a contact. "I need you to delete a file," he said. "Everything about the past 3 weeks. Emails, reports, especially anything where I insulted or mocked the new girl." But it was too late. Anna's final message that night. In her quiet apartment, Anna smiled as she read Rowan's file request. She had set a digital trap. She opened her secure device and recorded a message. Subject: Day 4. The mask starts to slip. Manager attempted to erase evidence. He has identified my true name. He will now act out of fear. Phase 4. Begin emotional pressure. Let him reveal his true self. She saved the file and looked out the window. Rain fell slowly, like the calm before a storm. "He wanted to play with people's lives," she whispered. "Let him feel what that truly means." Rowan sat at his desk early in the morning, staring at his computer screen. His eyes were tired. His hands were shaking. He hadn't slept all night. The image of Anna, no, Ananya Mehra, kept flashing in his mind. How could he have been so blind? The girl he insulted, mocked, humiliated in front of others. She wasn't just anyone. She was the CEO's daughter. And now, everything was falling apart. Whispers in the office. By 9:00 a.m., the office was buzzing. Something had changed. People were whispering more than usual. Some employees had noticed Anna entering the executive elevator, the one only directors and VIPs used. Others said they saw her having lunch with the head of HR. Some even claimed she had her own access code to the CEO's office. But nobody had answers, only questions. And in the middle of all this chaos stood Mr. Rowan, confused, sweating, and no longer in control. The confrontation begins. At 11:00 a.m., Rowan got a message. "Meeting room 4. Now." Anna. His heart raced. He walked quickly through the hallway, ignoring the eyes staring at him. Everyone seemed to know. But nobody said a word. When he entered the meeting room, Anna was already there. She stood beside the whiteboard, calm and quiet, her eyes sharp and serious. 3 department heads were present: HR, Finance, and Internal Audit. Rowan blinked. "What is this?" he asked. Anna looked up. "This is a performance review. For you." The report. Anna handed him a file. "Read it," she said. Rowan opened it. His face turned pale. It had everything. Screenshots of emails where he mocked staff. Complaints from juniors that were ignored. Recordings of him giving Anna unnecessary work. Security camera footage of him yelling in meetings. Rowan looked around. "Who gave you all this?" Anna smiled coldly. "You did. Every mistake you made in front of cameras. You wrote it in your own words. You didn't hide anything, because you thought no one was watching." The real blow. Then Anna stepped forward and placed another paper on the table. It was a resignation form, with Rowan's name already filled in. His hand shook. You can't do this. You're just an intern." Anna slowly pulled out her ID card and placed it on the table. Ananya Mehra, Strategic Director, Future Tech Group. Rowan stared at it in silence. Everyone else in the room already knew. "You should have treated people better," she said. "You judged me by my clothes. You mocked me because I was quiet. You abused your power." He sank into the chair. This isn't fair. You came to trap me." "No," Anna replied softly. "I came to test the heart of this company. You failed." The emotional twist. Rohan looked at her, his voice breaking. "You don't understand. I worked hard. I gave my life to this company. I built this team." Anna didn't move, but her eyes softened. "I know," she said, "and that's why this hurts me too. But power without kindness is poison, Mr. Rohan. You used fear instead of respect." He buried his face in his hands. "I was proud," he whispered, "too proud to see the truth." Anna nodded slowly. "That's why this is not the end," she said, "but it is the moment you stop being a manager and start learning how to lead." A surprise offer. Just when he thought it was over, Anna slid one more document toward him. It wasn't a termination letter. It was a transfer request. "To the Future Tech Leadership Training Center," she said. "6 months. If you complete it, you can return. But only if you change." Rohan looked up in shock. "You're giving me another chance?" Anna nodded. "My father gave me chances when I made mistakes. Now I pass that lesson on." For the first time in days, Rohan felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Later that day, as Rohan packed his things, many employees watched quietly. Some were confused. Others were relieved. A few came to shake his hand. Before he left, he walked over to Anna's desk. She stood up. "I'm sorry," he said. Anna smiled. "Let's see who you become after this." He nodded and walked out, not with pride, but with peace. The sun rose on a new day at Future Tech. But something had changed. It wasn't just the sky or the building. It was the people. The air felt lighter. The silence in the halls had been replaced by quiet hope. And at the heart of it all stood Anna, now revealed as Ananya Mehra, daughter of the CEO and the new strategic director. No one called her the new girl anymore. Now, they called her Ma'am. But she didn't care about titles. She came to fix something deeper, the broken soul of the company. The first meeting. Anna entered the main conference room with a calm face and strong steps. Inside, the top managers sat in silence, waiting. Many were nervous. They had all heard what happened to Mr. Rohan. Some feared they were next. Anna stood at the head of the table and began. "I am not here to fire people," she said. "I am here to understand why this place feels so cold, so tired, and to change it." She paused. "Future Tech was built by my father with a dream. To be powerful, yes, but also kind. Fair. A place where people grow, not suffer." The managers exchanged looks. Some looked guilty, others hopeful. Then she said something unexpected. "I want to hear from you. What's wrong with this company?" Voices that were never heard. For the first time, managers who were silent before started to speak. One said, "We have too many rules, but no real communication." Another added, "People are scared to speak up. They think if they talk, they'll lose their job." Anna nodded. She listened without interrupting. Then, a junior HR manager quietly raised her hand. "I tried to report bullying, but my emails were ignored." Anna looked at her gently. "Not anymore." That day, Anna ordered a full review of the complaint system. She made sure no email, no message, and no voice would ever be ignored again. The wall of names. A few days later, Anna set up something very strange in the main lobby. A giant wall with hundreds of sticky notes. Each note had a name. A real employee who had left Future Tech in the past 5 years. Above the wall, one line was written in bold. "We lost these people. Why?" Employees came and stood in front of the wall. Some cried. Some added notes of their own. One wrote, "He was a good worker. He left because of unfair treatment." Another note said, "She had dreams, But no one listened. Anna walked past each note slowly, her eyes full of sadness and focus. "This wall," she said, "will remind us every day why we must be better." Training the leaders. Anna started a leadership boot camp. But it wasn't about business plans or profits. It was about empathy, respect, and emotional intelligence. Managers were made to role play as junior staff for one day, taking calls, handling complaints, and answering to bosses who didn't care. One manager broke down in tears. "I didn't know it was this hard," he whispered. Anna simply replied, "Now you do." Changing the culture. Within weeks, big changes happened. The open-door policy became real. Anyone could walk into a manager's office and talk. A weekly mental health break was added, 1 hour where work stopped and people could relax. Rewards were no longer just for numbers. Kindness, teamwork, and honesty were also celebrated. And slowly, the company changed. Smiles returned. People stayed back to help each other, not because they were told to, but because they wanted to. Future Tech was waking up. Mr. Rowan returns. After months at the Leadership Center, Mr. Rowan returned to the office one morning. He looked different. He was calmer, quieter, more respectful. Instead of going to his old cabin, he went straight to Anna's office. She looked up and smiled. "How was the journey?" she asked. "Hard," he said, "but necessary." He handed her a small plant, a gift. "It's called the peace lily. It only blooms where there's kindness." Anna accepted it and placed it on her desk. "Welcome back," she said. "Let's build something better, together." A new phase begins. That evening, Anna sat in her office, watching the sunset outside. The company was not perfect yet, but it was alive again. And more importantly, it was healing. She took out her phone and sent her usual message. ***, phase 6 complete. The company is breathing again. The team is learning. The culture is shifting. Final phase begins tomorrow. Reveal the truth to my father. ***. The office was quiet. It was early morning. No one had arrived yet, except for Anna. She sat in a large boardroom, her fingers gently touching a folder filled with reports, names, and handwritten notes. Today was the day, the final day. After 7 long weeks, the mission was nearly complete. Only one person remained. Her father, the man behind Future Tech, the CEO, Mr. Rajan Mehra. The door opens. At exactly 9:00 a.m., the heavy wooden door opened. Mr. Rajan entered, tall and confident as always. But when he saw Anna sitting there, alone, with that folder in her hand, he paused. There was something different about her. She didn't look like the new hire anymore. She looked like a leader, like his daughter. Father and daughter face to face. Rajan sat down slowly across from her. "Anna," he said softly, or should I say, "Ananya." Anna smiled gently. "You always told me, Dad, if I wanted to understand the company, I had to walk through its fire." "And you did," he replied, pride and worry in his eyes. "Yes," she nodded. "And I saw things you need to know." She slid the folder across the table. Inside were documents, voice notes, and pictures of everything she had discovered. Unfair treatment of employees, ignored complaints, toxic leadership, broken systems, and also the changes she made, the people she helped, the culture she saved. The CEO listens. Mr. Rajan opened the folder and began reading. He didn't interrupt. He didn't speak. Page after page, his face changed, from calm to surprised to deeply hurt. When he reached the page with the wall of names, he placed his hand over his mouth. "These are real people," he whispered. Anna nodded. "Yes, they left because no one cared. We lost talent. We lost hearts." Rajan leaned back in his chair, his voice shaking. "I built this company with dreams, but somewhere along the way, I lost sight of the people. Anna reached across the table and held his hand. "We all make mistakes," she said gently, "but we can fix them if we start now." A decision is made. Silence filled the room. Then Mr. Rajan stood up and looked out the window. "When I made you go undercover, I thought you'd last 2 days," he said. Anna smiled. "I almost quit on day 3. He chuckled softly, then turned serious. "But you stayed, you listened. You fought silently." He walked over and placed a keycard on the table. "I'm stepping back for a while. You take the seat. You're ready." Anna froze. "Dad, are you sure?" He nodded. "You earned this. Not as my daughter, but as a leader." A new beginning. A few days later, the company gathered for a special announcement. Employees stood side by side, waiting. Then Anna walked up to the stage. But this time, she wore no plain clothes. She wore a white blazer, the same color her father wore when he started the company. Her voice was steady and full of emotion. "Many of you knew me as Anna, the new girl. But my real name is Ananya Mehra, and I came here to learn the truth about our company." Gasps filled the room. People looked at each other in shock, and then, in respect. "I saw your pain," she continued. "I heard your stories, and I promise you today, those days are over. We are building the new future tech, a place of trust, strength, and heart." The crowd broke into applause. Some even cried. It was the beginning of something new. Months had passed since Anna, now publicly known as Ananya Mehra, took the leadership seat at Future Tech. But things were not easy. Changing a system built over decades was harder than she thought. Still, every morning, she walked into the office with the same quiet smile and calm strength. She wasn't just sitting in a big chair. She was rebuilding a culture. The company transforms. Future Tech had once been known for pressure, late nights, and fear of failure. Now people smiled in the halls. Meetings were shorter but more meaningful. Managers actually listened. Even the office walls had changed. Bright colors, soft lights, open spaces. But most importantly, the people had changed. They weren't just employees anymore. They were a team. An old face returns. One day, as Anna reviewed files in her office, her assistant entered. "Ma'am," he said, "someone's here to see you." "He says he used to work here." Anna raised an eyebrow. "Name?" "Rohan. Mr. Rohan." The room went still for a moment. Anna slowly stood up. "Send him in." Mr. Rohan walks in. Rohan entered the room, no longer wearing his old confident smirk. He looked tired, older, and honestly sorry. He sat down, took off his glasses, and sighed. "I didn't come to ask for my job back," he said quietly. "I came to say I was wrong." Anna listened in silence. "I treated you badly. I mocked you, judged you, all because I thought you were just a girl with no power." He looked down. "And I didn't just do that to you. I did that to many people. I hurt good employees. I destroyed trust." He took a deep breath. "I'm sorry." Forgiveness and growth. Anna looked at him, her face calm. "I believe people can change," she said. "But change only matters if it continues." She opened a drawer and pulled out a simple envelope. "I kept this," she said, sliding it to him. He opened it slowly, and inside was a letter he had written years ago, suggesting better training programs for interns and junior staff. "You had good ideas once," Anna said, "before ego took over. Maybe it's time you remembered that." Rohan's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you for not throwing me away." Anna smiled. "We don't throw people away. We rebuild them, if they're ready." The impact spreads. News of Future Tech's transformation spread across industries. Other companies sent teams to learn from Anna's model. Magazines featured her on covers. Articles called her the silent storm and the CEO who listened. But Anna didn't care about fame. She only cared about people. She began a new program called Project Rise, helping young workers who had been ignored, rejected, or mistreated in other firms. Within a year, Project Rise helped thousands get new jobs and fresh starts. One last lesson from her father. One evening, Anna visited her father's house. They sat on the balcony, drinking tea, watching the stars. "You were right, Dad," she said. "The fire teaches us." He smiled. "But you did more than survive the fire. You became the light." She chuckled softly. "I still have so much to learn." He looked at her, eyes proud. "You're a leader now. But more than that, you're a human who listens. That's rare. Don't lose that." Closing message to the world. Anna later recorded a video message for the company's official channel. She looked directly into the camera and said, "I joined as a new girl. I was mocked, tested, and judged. But I never stopped watching or caring. Today, I lead not because I'm the CEO's daughter, but because I earned the trust of people who once felt invisible." To everyone watching, never judge by appearance. And never forget, kindness is power. Real power. The future begins now. And so, the story of the new girl didn't just end with a reveal. It became a movement, a quiet revolution of respect, leadership, and change. And Anna, she continued leading, with wisdom in her eyes and a fire in her heart. Because some people wear crowns. But the strongest ones, they wear compassion.